it's my favorite city is Brooklyn.
Yeah,
and
me too.
It's hers as well, and yours too.
Yeah, me too.
So that's something we all have in common, and we're all artists, musicians, and we all are trying to get back there. So why don't you talk about that a little bit? How you came here, but I think you lived in Ellsworth with your dad for a bit, right? So I don't know the order in which you went to Brooklyn, but talk about coming from Paris to Brooklyn.
I came from a very inner city surrounding, so I know it's not inner city because it's the suburbs, but over there that's how it is. Like all the projects are out in some of the suburbs. So I came from a very inner city surroundings to coming to in France to coming to Ellsworth, Maine. So when I was 18, so I asked my dad for. I didn't know my dad growing up, and then he reconnected with me when I was 16, and when I was 18, as soon as I graduated from high school over there, I asked him for a one-way ticket to the promised land, and here I am. So, but yeah, I started by living in Ellsworth, which was a huge culture shock. Well, it's not even a culture shock because there was no culture there. Like,
there's nothing there.
No, it's not true actually, and. And I started working construction, and it was just a different world. And I kind of loved the guys I work with. Like it was my first, introduction to like redneck America, and like they were fun, and I learned a lot from them. But then after a few months, I realized they hated me. So, it just so I had more or less of a hard time in Maine, like living here, and then things. I traveled out. I went to New Orleans and New York when I was 19, and then I came back to chill out and go to school and stay with my dad, get to know my dad better. And then after 9/11, honestly, things in Maine sucked for me and some people I knew, and I decided to go to New York. So I wound up living there for 2 years. I did one of the years I did a school there. And then I lived in a squat on the Lower East Side, which was an amazing experience.
Yeah, I forgot you were a squatter in New York.
It was like an organized homeless community is the best way to describe it.
Wow.
The Village Voice used to give grades to the squats, and we always got the most demographically diverse squat. And it was a very like dysfunctional squat that just held it together for 16 years until they got busted by the city. And,
did you ever have anything sketchy happen? Like anybody try to stab you or anything?
Not in the squat, no. No. It was they were very strict about like you couldn't do hard drugs, you couldn't do too much illegal stuff, right? Because they really wanted to protect themselves, protect each other. Like we had homeless people in there that were in their 60s, 70s that had survived 20 years in the street, and they really defended their space. We had one woman who, Rosemary, who they made a film about, the Glass Castle, I believe.
Oh wow.
So we had, these people eventually had to leave, and some of them went back on the street once things changed.
How long were you there for in the squat?
2 years. 2 years minus one summer. So.
No kidding! I didn't realize it was that long.
Yeah, the second year was when the city started to bust down on the. That's not an expression. Bust down. Started crack down on the squat, and they had discovered that we were stealing electricity from the projects next door, and so they shut that down. And so the last winter I was in New York, it was like no electricity. Luckily, the apartment people got wood stoves in different apartments in the squat, so they were so the people below me had a wood stove, so I didn't die, but it was really cold.
Wow.
And but I loved it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That is quite the experience.
Yeah, I always think that my Brooklyn experience is bad with a few cockroaches and some bad roommates, but that's a little that's cooler.